No money, no looks. This is how to make women love you. Stoicism. Old Stoic Wisdom. What if everything you were taught about attraction was wrong? Not the money, not the muscles, not even the smooth talk. What truly makes a woman fall for you isn't what you have, it's who you are. You've been sold a lie that you need to impress her with flash and flare, but deep down, you know it's all temporary. Looks fade, charm wears off, wallets shrink. But a grounded man, a man who carries peace in a storm and walks with quiet certainty, that's unforgettable. It's not your status that captivates her. It's the stillness in your presence, the way you hold eye contact like nothing can shake you. That's what her instincts are drawn to. That's what makes her feel safe. Even if she can't explain why, right now, you might feel like you're not enough, like something's missing. But here's the truth. Presence is earned through discipline, not decoration. This is your moment to stop chasing and start becoming. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. And the moment you stop trying to impress is the moment you start to attract. Love is the reward of presence, not performance. Inspired by Stoic wisdom. If you're ready to reclaim your power, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. And drop this in the comments to affirm it. I lead with strength, not status. Number 1. The calm that captivates. In a world obsessed with flashy cars, sculpted looks, and fat bank accounts, what if I told you that the true key to making a woman genuinely love you has nothing to do with those things? What if the rarest and most powerful trait you can develop isn't your wealth or appearance, but your ability to remain calm, centered, and emotionally grounded no matter what's happening around you? This is what Old Stoic Wisdom teaches us, that stillness, not showmanship, is the real force of attraction. While most men are trained to perform, flooding women with compliments, trying too hard, overthinking every word or gesture, the Stoic man understands a deeper truth. True influence is built in silence, not noise. The moment you stop chasing is the moment she starts noticing. As the philosopher Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And that's the difference. When you master your emotions, you stop reacting to her moods, her games, her silences. You become the stable point in her emotional storm. She may test you, ignore you, or even try to provoke you, but when she sees that none of it shakes you, that her silence doesn't break your rhythm, that her disapproval doesn't rattle your peace, something changes. She begins to lean in, not because you're cold, but because you're composed. Your emotional independence makes her curious. Your stillness draws her in. Instead of acting out of desperation, you connect with presence. Speak to her soul, not just her face. Don't say, "You're hot." Say, "I love how your voice softens when you talk about your childhood. That's real to me." Suddenly, it's not a line. It's an experience. Add sincerity. When she shares something personal, respond with, "Thank you for trusting me with that. I see how much it means to you." Those words linger in her heart far longer than flattery ever could. And when conflict comes, and it will, don't fall into the trap of apologizing just to smooth things over. Apologize when it matters, but never to avoid tension or discomfort. That quiet strength tells her you're not afraid of complexity. You're here to stand, not to bend. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This shows up in your posture too. Your shoulders relaxed, your eyes steady, your movements slow and intentional. You don't fidget, you don't rush, you don't perform. You occupy space with ease, not to dominate, but to simply be. And when she pulls away, when a date goes south, when life throws you curveballs, you don't crumble. You observe, you adapt, you let your presence speak louder than your words. That silence, it becomes a mirror. She sees herself reflected in your unshaken calm, and she begins to wonder, who is this man who isn't trying to win me, yet is drawing me closer? That's when attraction stops being about games and starts being about gravity. You're not molding yourself into what she wants. You're becoming exactly who you're meant to be, with or without her. And because of that, she wants to be part of your journey, not because you pursued her, but because you built a life so magnetic, she can't help but be drawn into it. So now, take a moment and ask yourself, are you trying to impress, or are you trying to embody something real? If you're ready to stop chasing and start becoming, drop a comment below and say, I don't chase approval, I become undeniable. Let's hear how this message resonated with you. What does emotional presence mean to you in today's world? Number 2, don't chase, attract. This is the ancient Stoic reversal of desire that most men miss entirely in modern relationships. The harder you chase a woman, the more distant she becomes, not because you're unworthy, but because desperation carries an unmistakable scent that even the most subtle instincts can detect. Neediness repels, not because women are cruel, but because it signals instability. Many men fall into the trap of thinking that pursuit is power, that flooding her phone with messages and over-explaining emotions will win her over. But the Stoics knew better. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That strength isn't loud or flashy, it's calm, composed, deeply rooted. Real attraction, the kind that makes her heart race in silence, doesn't come from the chaos of effort, but from the stillness of presence. A man who does not require her emotional response to regulate his own state becomes infinitely more magnetic, not less. The moment you stop reacting, you stop orbiting her energy and instead become the center of gravity. When she tests you with sarcasm, with distance, or with silence, and you remain unmoved, not out of arrogance, but because you understand the deeper game, you begin to embody what Stoicism is all about: calm amidst provocation, peace amidst pressure. You don't need to flinch, explain, or prove anything. Your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting her own behavior back to her. Suddenly, she's leaning in, not because you begged for attention, but because your lack of need stirred her curiosity. Why doesn't he seem affected, she wonders, and in that moment, her thoughts become tethered to your poise. Stoicism is not cold indifference, it's measured response. You don't ignore to manipulate, you withhold to protect your energy because your attention is earned, not handed out like a flyer on a street corner. You no longer see her validation as the goal, your standard becomes the filter. You are not a performer auditioning for approval. You are already living your worth, with or without applause. If she recognizes it, great. If she doesn't, you part ways with calm dignity, not bitterness. That unshakable detachment doesn't make you cold. It makes you untouchable. This, right here, is your Stoic advantage, the ability to stay grounded while others are thrown by the wind. In a world addicted to reaction, your calm becomes revolutionary. When you master your inner frame, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you become the man others revolve around, not because you pulled them in, but because they can't help but be drawn to your stillness. So let go of the need to chase. Let go of the urge to perform. Instead, become so centered, so anchored in your own essence, that she finds herself gravitating toward you, not because you demanded her attention, but because she feels the invisible pull of your presence. This is the art of selective energy. This is Stoic attraction. Comment below, I attract by staying still. I don't chase, I choose. Number 3, speak less, mean more. In a world that rewards noise and celebrates the loudest man in the room, the real power belongs to the man who masters silence and speaks with unshakable intention. Most men babble to be liked. They flood conversations with flattery, jokes, and over-explaining, thinking the more they say, the more they're worth. But here's the truth. The man who controls his words controls the room. And in the realm of love, he controls her attention. A Stoic doesn't speak to impress. He speaks to connect. His words are deliberate. They're anchored in presence. He doesn't throw her name around like a trick. He uses it like a scalpel. You know what I love about you, Anna? That's surgical precision. That's how you cut through her defenses and reach her core. It's not about the surface. It's about making her feel seen, not just looked at. Seen. Instead of saying, "You're beautiful," like every other man on autopilot, the Stoic man says, "There's a fire in the way you express yourself. That kind of energy is rare." Now she's not just a pretty face. She's a force, and she feels it. The Stoic man thanks her, not because he's trying to be polite, but because he's present enough to value the exchange. "Thanks for sharing that with me." Short, powerful, human. That single sentence builds a bridge of trust. And when he apologizes, it's not for being quiet. It's not for being different. It's when it matters, when it's true. Because real strength doesn't lie in never being wrong. It lies in knowing when to stand still and when to bow with honor. His words? They're not robotic. They're responsible, measured, grounded. And here's where the psychological magnetism kicks in. He's not afraid of silence. He doesn't rush to fill every second with noise. He lets silence breathe. Why? Because silence pulls. It draws her in. It makes her lean forward, not back. Most men talk her into boredom. The Stoic man talks her into memory, into meaning, into magnetism. And that's why she remembers him. Long after the jokes fade, long after the noise disappears, he stays, because his words meant something. Wise men speak because they have something to say. Fools because they have to say something. That's Plato. And that's your new mantra. Speak less, mean more. Let your voice be a rare sound, not a common echo. Because when your words are rare, they gain value. Like gold. Don't perform, don't pretend. Tune in, look her in the eye, and only speak if what you say deepens the connection, not distracts from it. Let her feel the power of your presence before a single word leaves your lips. This is the Stoic's edge. This is your new standard. Comment below. I don't speak to impress. I speak to connect. And if this message hits home, subscribe and share it with another man who's ready to lead with presence, not noise. Number 4. Move like you mean it. The core of Stoic magnetism isn't found in your words, your wallet, or your looks. It's embedded in how you carry yourself when no one's watching. Before you say a single word, your energy has already entered the room. Your walk, your breath, your posture, they speak louder than any pickup line ever could. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one, said Marcus Aurelius, and this is exactly what that means. A grounded man doesn't chase approval. He radiates calm certainty. He doesn't fidget or overcompensate. His shoulders aren't puffed with ego, and his movements aren't desperate for validation. Every motion, from the way he sits to the way he reaches for a glass, feels earned and deliberate. The Stoic man doesn't wander, he arrives. And when he does, her instincts register something different, something rare. Not a man who needs to be liked, but one who sees without needing permission to see. When he looks at her, he doesn't stare her down, to dominate or look away in submission. His eyes speak. I acknowledge you. I recognize you. But I don't need anything from you. That gaze is rare and magnetic. Think about posture too. A Stoic man stands tall, not to impress, but because there's nothing inside him pulling him down. No tension, no noise, just presence. A man who's reconciled with his own demons doesn't need to take up space. His energy does it for him. And when she speaks, especially about things that are small, easily forgotten, he remembers. He listens without needing to respond. Because attention is not about reaction, it's about reflection. When he brings up that obscure author she mentioned last week in casual conversation, when he notices the subtle stress in her tone and responds with peace instead of panic, that's what creates gravity. That's what separates men who try to impress from men who leave an impression. And in modern life, this stillness is your greatest advantage. In a world addicted to noise, speed, and flashy performance. The man who walks slow, breathes deep, and speaks less, but with clarity, stands out like a lighthouse in a storm. So don't move to be noticed. Move like you mean it. Let your body follow your principles, not your impulses. And as you do, you'll discover what Old Stoic Wisdom has always whispered. You don't need to chase admiration when you walk in alignment with who you are. She won't remember what you wore or how many followers you had, but she will remember how safe, seen, and steady she felt in your presence. That is power. That is Stoicism in motion. Comment below. I move with presence, not performance. What part of this resonated most with you? Let's talk in the comments. Number 5. Respond with peace. This is not just advice. It is a weapon in a world of emotional chaos. In today's dating landscape, where men are taught to fix, chase, and explain, the truly powerful man, the Stoic, chooses something else entirely: stillness. And this stillness is not apathy, it is strength. Anyone can be calm when things go well, but a real man reveals himself when things fall apart. As Epictetus once said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So when the food arrives late on a date, when the conversation stumbles, or when she pulls back with coldness in her tone, most men panic. They lean in, apologize, try to rescue the moment. But you? You smile with calm eyes. You remain rooted in your presence. You don't see the moment as bad, you see it as neutral. You know the only thing that gives it power is your response. And when you remain centered, grounded, peaceful, she feels it. That calm becomes the atmosphere around you. It tells her, this man is not controlled by conditions. He is the condition. And in a world where emotional chaos is the norm, your peace becomes magnetic. Now, let's talk about when she becomes distant. She cancels plans, she pulls away. The average man immediately loses control, texting, seeking answers, chasing closure. But you? You step back too. Not as some manipulative game, but as a mark of self-respect. A Stoic doesn't need to control her to feel secure. He allows her to flow, like the river flows to the sea. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's why you don't meet emotion with more emotion, you meet it with grounded observation. You become the mountain in the storm, not the leaf in the wind. You see her emotional waves, but you do not surf them. You let her retreat if she must, knowing she'll feel your calm absence more than your desperate presence. And that absence will often draw her back, not because of pressure, but because of the safety you radiate. In relationships, this becomes even more crucial. When she tests you, when she lashes out, when her emotions flare, it's tempting to defend, correct, or push back. But the Stoic man sees something deeper. The moment is not about control, but reflection. Your stillness becomes a mirror, and in that mirror she sees the difference between reaction and wisdom. You breathe instead of biting back. You hold your peace instead of your pride. That's not weakness, it's leadership. Emotional leadership. The kind that says, I don't need to overpower this moment. I am the moment. In a world full of men who react, you become the rare man who transcends. And that, more than any look, any status, any dollar in your bank account, is what makes you unforgettable. So next time she pulls away, gets cold, or throws fire at you, don't flinch, don't chase, just breathe, watch, and hold your ground. That's when she'll start to feel something she didn't expect. Admiration, then curiosity, then attraction. Because peace is not passive, it's powerful. And the man who responds with peace, he becomes the one she respects, and eventually, the one she loves. Now I want to hear from you. Comment below. I respond with peace, not panic. Let the world see you walk in that power. Number 6. Don't perform, transform. In a world where most men scramble to impress, to bend, to perform for a woman's approval, there stands a rare kind of man who refuses to be anything but real. And that is exactly why he becomes irresistible. The average man imitates. He adapts to her tastes. He censors his truth. He trims his rough edges and plays a role, hoping she'll applaud the act. But as the Stoics taught us, to trade your soul for approval is the ultimate form of self-betrayal. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." And that's the core of this message. The Stoic man does not perform. He transforms, not to become someone else, but to become fully and unapologetically himself. He does not wear a mask. He does not recite lines. He does not beg for applause. He simply stands, clear, direct, and unshakable. And that clarity, that inner alignment, radiates power. Women are not drawn to the man who echoes back her opinions. They are drawn to the man who knows his own. Because while boys adapt to be liked, men evolve to be respected. This transformation begins when you stop hiding behind performance and start living your truth. That means speaking honestly, even when your voice shakes. It means honouring your values, even when they clash with hers. It means being okay with not being everyone's cup of tea, because you'd rather be real than be liked. And here's the paradox that most men miss. When you stop trying to be liked, people start respecting you, especially her, because she sees the difference. She feels the weight of your presence. She senses the integrity behind your choices. And that's when something primal happens. She leans in, not because of your money, not because of your looks, but because you have something that can't be faked, inner gravity. That kind of man doesn't ask for attention, he commands it. Because he's on a mission, he has purpose. He trains his body, sharpens his mind, leads with clarity. And every decision he makes echoes confidence, not from ego but from alignment. And when pressure comes, he doesn't flinch, he doesn't collapse. He anchors, deep, calm, decisive. That's amor fati in action. Loving your fate, owning your path, becoming the rock in the storm, not the leaf in the wind. You want to attract her? Don't rehearse a script. Live a life worth watching. Build something. Lead something. Protect something. Be a man whose actions speak so loudly that your presence becomes unforgettable. She will notice, not because you asked her to, but because your essence made it impossible not to. And remember, the more aligned you are with your truth, the more the world, including her, aligns with you. So don't dilute yourself to be digestible. Don't perform for her attention. Become so solid, so centered, that she recognizes you not as an act, but as a force. Now comment below. I don't perform. I become. And if this message hit you deep, if it reminded you of the man you're called to be, subscribe, and share this with a brother who needs to hear it. The world needs fewer actors and more anchors. Be the latter. Number 7. Master yourself and everything else follows. That's not just a rule, it's a revelation. Attraction isn't about charm, cheesy lines, or overcalculated strategies. It's about presence, and presence comes from self-mastery. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When a man truly owns himself, his thoughts, his responses, his silence, he enters a different frequency that can't be faked, and women feel it instinctively. He no longer needs to chase, impress, or pretend. People, especially women, begin to feel drawn to him not because of what he does, but because of what he embodies. This isn't about playing it cool or masking insecurity. It's about becoming a man who is already whole. His calm isn't for show. It's the natural result of inner discipline. His silence isn't awkward. It's rich with meaning. His detachment doesn't scream disinterest. It whispers freedom. And that, my friend, is where real power lies. A Stoic man isn't memorable because he floods her inbox with attention. He's unforgettable because he held his ground when others would have scrambled. He didn't beg for affection, didn't lose his center when she tested the waters or pulled away. Instead, he stood still, anchored, firm, unbothered, and in that stillness she felt something she couldn't quite explain. Safety, curiosity, and reverence. She didn't just see a man, she experienced a presence. A man who didn't flinch, didn't overreact, and didn't chase. A man who responds instead of reacts, who observes instead of assumes, who chooses instead of begs. This kind of energy can't be faked or forced. It comes from mastery, from choosing emotional discipline over outbursts, from taming the mind instead of being ruled by its impulses, from living intentionally instead of performing for attention. You see, when you master yourself, every part of your life levels up. Your relationships, your business, your leadership, your influence. You become a man of quiet authority, not noise. And here's the truth most won't tell you. Peace is the most magnetic force on earth. In a world of men who are desperate to be seen, the one who doesn't need attention becomes the most noticeable. When you stop chasing and start choosing, when you stop performing and start being, you don't just attract love, you command respect. You become the blueprint, the man she thinks about when others fail to measure up. She may not be able to explain why, but she'll feel it in her bones. That's the Stoic way, not glamorous, not loud, but undeniable. So build that stillness within you, find that inner command, and let your energy do the talking. Comment below. When I mastered myself, the rest came to me? Let's hear from you. What part of yourself are you mastering right now? Thanks so much for staying with me until the end, my friend. That alone shows you're not like the average man. You're searching for something deeper, something real. And I respect that. Let me leave you with this. Too many men out here are exhausting themselves trying to impress, flashing cash, chasing trends, trying to look like someone they're not. But the truth we just uncovered together is this. Real attraction doesn't come from showing off. It comes from showing up as the man who's in control of himself, who doesn't chase love but builds a life so grounded, so clear, so steady, that the right woman feels it without you needing to say a word. You don't need more money. You don't need better looks. What you do need is presence, emotional clarity, inner direction. You become magnetic the moment you stop trying to impress and start expressing who you are with confidence and peace. The man who builds quietly becomes the man who attracts naturally. So my final advice to you is this. Stop comparing, stop performing, and start living like a man who knows his value. Let your peace be your power, and your silence be your magnet. If this message spoke to you, like the video, subscribe for more powerful Stoic wisdom, and drop a comment below. I build quietly. I attract naturally. I want to hear your story, your thoughts, and your growth. Keep walking strong. You're not becoming just a man, you're becoming a force.